VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, Sirius XM channel 158. It's like riding a bike. It's Gil Alexander. It's Kelly Midland over there, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, hey, hey.
How you doing?
Good, man. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having
The people
me back.
missed you.
Can I just thank?
They had to deal with a lot of me. A lot of Kelly.
Oh, you held it down.
I'm just going to sit here and barely talk a little. I'm just going to look
There
at
you
Gil.
go.
Gil,
Just
tell
do
these
that.
stories.
Okay, I will. Don't encourage me. First of all, big thanks to let's go in chronological order, shall we?
Feels like 2 months ago. Yeah, training camp week you missed.
Training camp week, you, Nick Whalen, Jeff Erickson did a great job with that. Then you bounced because you got tired of being around here.
Yep.
And
Went
so
to Montreal.
Montreal. Any review of Montreal for us?
Yeah, it was okay.
Okay.
I had a great time, but I
Then,
could have a great time anywhere.
you want to do the off-air version of your review? And then it segued. Mark Malusis, who just was filling in for Captain America Dave Ross on By the Books just prior to us here on air this morning, he hosted on Monday.
Yeah,
this past
he and
Monday.
Wyatt held things down while you and I were both out.
Wyatt Tomczyk, ladies and gentlemen, who the glue that holds this whole operation together, by the way. Then it was you and Matt Brown. No one more solid than our friend Mateo Moreno. Mm-hmm. And then you and the debut of Stevie Fezzik as a co-host on the network.
That's right. That was fun. Fun Thursday and Friday with Stevie in here, man.
So thank you to all, because everybody was great, and you were the common thread through it all. So well done, Kelly.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay.
It was fun. It was fun with all the different matchups and everything. You know, like you said, we had some new ones. It was bizarre. A couple shows, right? So I filled in for Matt on Ready Set Bet over the weekend. Did that with Tom Byrne. Well, Nick Whalen, right? How many years have you and I been booking Nick Whalen on shows? We've never done one together, so that was really fun to do for a couple days.
Yeah.
And then Tom Byrne, same thing on Saturday. We did a show together. I'm like, we're booking Tom Byrne for NBA spots for seven years. Talk about the NBA, so it was fun geeking out a little bit about that.
Can I squeeze in 2 weeks of? Man, if I were on air, I couldn't wait to talk about this the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. What were your big topics?
Well, first of all, before we do that, on the show today, Paul Sporer. Let's talk a little trade deadline with him. MLB trade deadline. Let's scratch the NFL awards. We'll move that to tomorrow. You know what I want to talk about today? August most wins Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. I've already made a bet. August most wins Major League Baseball. This just in. This hasn't gone well for me this year. Yeah, Seattle not getting it done. We'll update July as well. Top of the next hour, Cleve TA joins us. Our buddy TA. He's got his football preview out. All kinds of questions for Cleve about the team that is off everybody's radar that he thinks is going to make the playoffs this year in the NFL. The team from last year that did make the playoffs that he does not think will make it this year. Remember, Cleve last year correctly picked Kevin O'Connell to win Coach of the Year at 28-1. He predicted a Kansas City-Philadelphia Super Bowl, which Philadelphia would win. He predicted that. He predicted Dallas to miss the playoffs, Minnesota and Seattle to not only go over their win totals, but the Vikings as his top NFC playoff sleeper. So he knows of what he speaks.
And his guide is out now.
Yeah, his guide is out now. It's free, by the way. His guide is free.
Always free, which is always cool. He's on a list of, I don't know about you, Gil, but it's about 4 that are must-reads for me. Obviously, starting with VSiN, but then we go to, Cleve TA's guide, Warren Sharp's. Those are must-reads.
Aaron Schatz will join us tomorrow from FTN Sports with his. Wes Reynolds will also join us a little later, talk golf and beyond.
That guy, he's taking the lead, Gil. I think we had a 3-way tie on outright hits for the year on long shots, but my man Wes hit it on Kurt Kitayama yesterday.
Yep, the 3M
open. Got home.
All right.
So he's sitting home counting his money right now. Good for you, Wes.
All right, so the things over the last 2 weeks, I've kind of been goaded into this by a couple listeners, Teasers and Parlays and J-Rod, who are like, you have to talk about ego. We're not going to talk about ego. Ego's the first thing of the 2 weeks, obviously. Bagel in the finals against Amanda Nisimova. She wins Wimbledon. 9-1 hits for all of us. Super pumped about that. It's her 6th slam. And let me just say this real quick. I don't mean to brag. I don't mean to boast, but I like hot butter on a breakfast toast. Go, Kelly, from there. No, nothing?
No idea.
Okay.
Yeah, no idea.
Nothing? Baby Bubba? No, nothing. again, 2020 when she won the French Open, I made the outlandish proclamation that she would win double-digit majors when she won that. People thought I was nuts. She's won 6. Virtually no one thinks she will not win double-digit majors now. And by the way, they'll act like they didn't think I was crazy at the time now.
How old is she now?
She's 24. 2 years later.
She's got a good shot.
2 years later, 2022, I said she'd be the greatest of all time. Now, greatest of all time discussions never get resolved, right? We still don't resolve LeBron versus Michael Jordan. But she's 24. She's got 6 majors. I'm on pace.
If we did resolve that, what would ESPN talk about?
That's exactly right. Okay, so that was the first thing. By the way, Carlitos, very strange performance in the men's final the next day.
Yes.
Very odd. And Yannick Sinner wins that. The next thing was the home run derby and the MLB All-Star game, which I truly wished I was in the next morning to talk about, because I had Junior Caminero in the home run derby. And remember, it was this betting case study. I guess you guys didn't talk about it because you're doing training camp.
I was gone.
Okay, so Junior Caminero ends up losing to Cal Raleigh in the home run derby finals. I had him at 12-1, Caminero. Raleigh ended up advancing through the derby because he won a tiebreaker when they measured the distance of a home run, and he wins by like inches to advance and eventually win. And that was the first thing for those of us who had Caminero. We're like, are you kidding? Like, did we know that this was going to be a tiebreaker? That Cal Raleigh, like, how accurate are we supposed to believe that measurement is?
Yeah, I was waiting for this conversation with you, or missing you in this conversation.
Oh, it's brutal.
Like the sporting events were like, anybody know about this rule? Like, when did this rule start?
It was like, it's like when they measure,
because you're not even to the last rule yet that I didn't know exists.
Well, we're coming to that. So that was the first thing, which is, and they measured it in the same way that people talk about. Oh, Mickey Mantle hit like a 575-foot home run. It was on the corner of Flatbush and Atlantic, right? And they're like, it's 575 feet. So as always, Flatbush back then apparently. But then so Cal Raleigh wins that off some ridiculous tiebreaker, and then the next night, poor Will Hill, right? He not only had I believe Junior Caminero in the home run derby like I did, but then the next night I think he had both Rooker and was it Raleigh for MVP? I can't remember, or Alonso for MVP. I believe he had. Either way, the game ended up 6-6 on a ridiculous set of circumstances late, right in the ninth inning. In that, they go to a home run derby tiebreaker.
Sure. Yep. Totally knew that was the thing, Gil.
Everybody knew that.
100% knew that was what happens.
The NL wins, in quotes, 7-6. Half the sports books rule it a tie, but some of those same sports books acknowledge that then they gave the MVP to Kyle Schwarber in a home run derby that they also ruled a tie. And when he did it in the home run swap off there at the end. Yeah. So none of it made any sense from a betting standpoint. And poor Will had...
Well, so what are you saying? The MVP market should have just been voided?
No, what I'm saying is... I'm not saying anything like that. What I'm saying is, first of all, I hope the books stipulated... I hope they stipulated up front, if it ended in a tie, that they were going to grade it in a certain way. Because some graded it as a tie, some graded it as a National League win. But I'm just saying the incongruence of... game was ruled a tie by some, and yet the MVP went to a guy that didn't even win the MVP based on the tie.
Right,
he won it on something that happened afterwards.
Right, yeah, you're right. That's kind of just illogical from from the time, right?
Correct.
Like if you're saying nothing counts after this, that's why we're ruling it a tie, then yeah.
It was just, the whole thing was a mess. So I wished I'd talked about that. And then, of course, there was Scotty Scheffler winning. Scotty Scheffler, somebody different. Scotty Scheffler winning the Open Championship.
Just dominant.
Dominant, running away with it was amazing. The Nick Kurtz 4-home run game the other night.
Bro, that was nuts, man.
Which is...
was that Friday night? That was Friday night, right?
Friday night. Arguably the greatest single performance in the history of Major League Baseball in a single game. It was a great month for some players.
I was in the sports book, and I did that whole thing where like that game for some reason was like more randomly prominent on a television. It
was amazing.
And I was sitting there eating, and I'm like, pretty sure I've seen this same random Oakland A hit 2 home runs. Then he's like up to bat again. I'm like, pretty sure he just hit a third one. And I'm like, it's the 9th inning. And then they cut to his stat line. I was like, I was way off. That's just
It's incredible. That was something, again, where I was, I wish we could talk about this and lay out all the stats. The other thing is my guy, the incomparable Terry McLaurin, was the other thing I want to talk about, who's having a hold-in, not a hold-out. He did report to the Commanders training camp. But this is no one loves Terry McLaurin as much as I do, right? Having called him the incomparable Terry McLaurin for as many years now on this show as I can remember. But this is going to be interesting how this works out. And as a guy who, I'll just say it as a guy who adores him, I kind of get it from both sides. He's going to be 30 years old on September 15th. He is not mid-20s like Jamar Chase, like Justin Jefferson, who are guys that command $35 million a year. St. Brown and Lamb get $30 million a year. Garrett Wilson just signed a 4-year, $130 million. So those are all above, 30 or above. All mid-20s, McLaurin 30 in September. Wide receivers tend to peak between the ages of 23 to 27, and then they have a decline. So what if you're a Washington fan, which I am, or a Washington backer, you obviously want McLaurin. He's got 1 year left under contract, so one would assume he plays no matter what this year. But in terms of long-term viability, they're going to have to come up with a compromise of some sort where it might be incentive-laden, because I get it from a football standpoint, as great as you have been, as much as you are the pillar of the community for this team, I don't know that you can throw long-term massive money. And by the way, it's no fault of his own, because all he did was play with poor quarterbacks for 7 years before Jaden Daniels got here.
I'm a little shocked to hear this is your opinion on the matter. You can't break those two up. You got to keep this chemistry going.
No, they're not breaking it.
You have to pay him.
They're not breaking it up. They will pay him, but it's not going to be exactly what he wants. We'll come back. More on the other side.
Oh, look!
Look at that! Derek, what's the guarantee? Derek?
Mike, time to make history.
Players in Circa Million make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries choose one team each week with no point spread. The last one standing wins it all.
We have $21 million on the line. Are you in? Visit circasports.com for details.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, we'll recap the great weekend of MLB, go over the Monday card as well, and we start with division previews in the NFL. JP Finley to talk Commanders and NFC East. Also a couple games in the WNBA, and we continue with futures talk in college football. We have a game to talk about Thursday as the NFL is finally here. Follow the Money, 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, now Sirius XM Channel 158. Check out the website for all the betting tools.
Post Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is it. Final week to grab VSiN's football special for just $175. It's your all-access pass to VSiN Pro across every sport we cover from now through the Super Bowl. The NFL betting guide is already live, and the college football guide hits next week. Don't miss either. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Get a daily email with all the best bets from hosts and their guests, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, live and on-demand shows via the VSiN Watch app, plus full access to VSiN.com's analytics, tools, and betting systems. Log it in before July 31st at VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. It's Gil Alexander. We get tweets at Beating the Book. J-Rod already chimed in. He says, if Gil doesn't open the show with Iga, you absolutely have the right to kick him off his own show for negligence, he says to you, Kelly.
All right.
Well,
I like it.
Thank God I did it. Jack Larkin from Sport Trade said, Destiny's Child performed in Vegas with Beyonce last night, and all I can think about, did they play Survivor? Major whiff, if not. LOL, welcome back. Thank you, Jack. Let me just say this. When I arrived at the airport yesterday, everybody was wearing cowboy hats and boots. I guess they were all dressed that way for the Cowboy Carter Tour at Allegiant Stadium.
Saw your text. I was already asleep by then. Long story. I might have had to drive up and down the strip 3 times like this morning to get ready.
A little inside information. Kelly does not respond to my text after 6:58 p.m. every day.
No, that's not true. Like 7:30.
7:28 p.m.
Hey, I'm taking advantage of it. This is outside of the NBA and NFL season where I can actually go to bed early and get some sleep. I'm taking advantage of it.
Fred Courier, awesome. You're both back. Let's do this. We didn't get any Montreal stories last week, Gil. Oh, no Montreal stories, huh?
We had a great time.
Las Vegas 514, yo, welcome back. Just to let you know that Kelly did a splendid job. Not only is he more than just a producer, dare to say he actually one day could take the keys to the car. But until then, let's get ready for some football. Take the keys to the car. Kelly Bidlin.
I appreciate that. Everybody was very nice last week. I don't know. It was the normal,
you did a great job,
drop in listenership when Gil's out. I get it. He's the guy over here, okay? But nobody. I didn't get a lot of texts of like, man, get this guy off the air already. Jeez.
Nah, they love you.
I don't know if we have it. I don't know if Wyatt ever cut it up. At some point I have to replay for you a live read that I did. You're gonna laugh your ass off. I screwed it up completely and didn't realize it like halfway through. I read it with such confidence.
That's your brand, though. 3JackH3131. Gil, welcome back. Can you please tell us what team you almost bet for August also? Yes, because I almost bet Toronto in July, which we'll update here momentarily. Do we show those, by the way? July? You want to show July?
Yeah, sure.
While we're at it. July with just a handful, not even a handful. What is that? 4 days left in July, and really 4 or 3 games, depending on who you are. Blue Jays 17-5. With a 1.5 game edge, but really the win column is all that matters here, right? 2-win lead over the Rangers, Red Sox, and Brewers, who are all 15-6. Mets still mathematically alive at 14-7, but keep in mind, only the Blue Jays and Rangers at the top have 4 games left. The others have 3 games left. So it is the Blue Jays to cough up. What a month for the Blue Jays.
Man, they have been great.
Oh, can I also show this Blue Jays? Remember I mentioned this briefly the week before I left? This prop, opposing pitchers K prop versus the Blue Jays in the month of July. Do we have that? The Blue Jays, if you play the opposing pitchers Ks versus the Blue Jays in the month of July, you 17-5 to the under is what you would be. They do not strike out the Toronto Blue Jays. They do not. 17-5, and by the way, 3 of those 5 that went over were the 3 squirrely games right before the All-Star break, which I mentioned when I was doing the Seattle preview, when I picked Seattle this month of July, that I mentioned those games right cozying up to the All-Star break are always squirrely. So really 3 of those Blue Jays 5 overs, if you will, in terms of the opposing pitchers' K-props, were the 3 weird games right before the All-Star break against the Athletics. Otherwise, they're 17-2 to the under.
That's wild.
They don't strike out.
That Scuba guy's pretty good.
By the way, yesterday was one of the overs. Jack Flaherty struck out 7 Blue Jays.
Have you been betting that?
From time to time.
Okay.
Not always.
Well, you're truthful.
Yeah.
Not every day. You're not just blindly betting it every day. That is 17-5. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty good. We'll get to August wins here momentarily. You want to do August wins now? No, let's wait till August wins, shall we?
Yeah. No. Let's wait a little bit.
Let me just read a couple more of these real quick. 941 bets. Yo, I hope somebody else caught the subtle Bob and Tom reference this morning. on a numbers game. Bob and Tom. I don't remember that. Jason Stark. It was Pete Alonso who should have been MVP for that 3-run homer in the All-Star game and should have gotten the winning home run derby home run, but the clown from the AL couldn't hit one. I had Pete, too, at 35-1. Kevin Ron Gill, welcome back. So glad Fez got rid of the black shoe polish hair color. He looked great. He even looked thinner probably from you waxing him frequently on the tennis courts. We'll get to more of these. I'll know that.
Bro, Fez was awesome.
He's fantastic.
He was so excited to do it. The preparation that he put in, like I knew there was topics like I was going to bring up, like sports betting things that we're going to have to hit.
Yes.
That I know Steve's not going to be as interested in, right? He still had talking points for every single one of those. You should have seen the color-coded notes that he had, note cards.
It's fantastic. Come on. He's a
prepared his ass off. I appreciate that,
right.
Steve.
Preparation. He's a well of information. Okay, real quick, a couple tennis plays. We'll get to this Aaron Judge thing here momentarily. A couple tennis plays today. I want to start with our picks here today. The tennis tours, ATP and WTA, are in Canada. Ladies in Montreal, men in Toronto. Kelly just came from Montreal.
Got it.
Can't have Kelly and the ladies tour in the same time in the same city. Can't have that.
That would have been cool, actually.
Yeah.
What they switch these now every year? Location of where the men and women are at, or am I just making that up?
Are you making that up? I don't think you're making that up.
Okay.
I actually don't know the answer to that question.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
But by the way, so Leylah Fernandez just won the DC tournament yesterday. Do you know what she's doing? Leylah Fernandez, Canadian. She said she wants to go on a date. So she openly has said to people, slide into my DMs. I'll go on a 1-hour date with you in Montreal, her home country. Her home, I don't know if she's from Montreal, but she is Canadian by birth. So she is going to, she wants to go on a date with a non-tennis player. She wants to go on a date with a civilian. So you should have stayed there and gotten a date with Leylah Fernandez.
Wow, what this is quite a marketing move on her end.
It's more than a marketing move. It's aggressive.
Yeah.
Anyway, here are my plays today. In Toronto on the men's side, I'm on Matteo Gigante. Matty Giant. Minus 104 versus Borna Coric. That's at about 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific today. And then on ladies' side in Montreal, Antonia Ruzic, plus 140 versus Anastasia Potapova. So Gigante and Ruzic. Aaron Judge on the 10-day IL. Do we call the 10-day an IL? I think we do.
Yeah. Also, yes, I was correct. The Canadian Open tennis tournament.
They switch.
Rotate.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah. By the way, from Canada, then they go to Cincinnati. These are 1,000s, and then the U.S. Open. There is some random Winston-Salem men's tournament in between. Okay, so Aaron Judge, this is not quite the scenario we talked about 3 weeks ago, where it's like, what would it take Cal Raleigh to be MVP?
Right.
We thought it would take Cal Raleigh to hit like 65 homers and Aaron Judge to hit, fewer than 50. So he'll be back. The question, though, becomes, right, is there a bettable way to sort of, is there a way to exploit this in a particular betting market? And you came up with, what did you come up with here now? MVP? Is that
well,
right?
I think there's a couple different angles to talk about. First, I mean, just where the ALE stands at, right? Overall, how big of a concern is this for the Yankees going forward regular season, especially when they're, you've seen, it's just been Blue Jays going up, Yankees going down ever since I made a great Yankees to win the division bet right before Gil left.
Nice job.
Minus 220, I bet it at. It's at plus 255 now. That is called quality timing. I do want to say this. When it comes to sequencing, nobody as unfortunate as the Yankees.
They just got to get the defense together. I mean,
Well,
this is what cost them the World Series, by the way, right? I mean, this is not a new problem for this franchise. By the way, their free agent pickups have been just laughable, I think. But I don't know. I mean, plus 255 on the Yankees? When you have sequencing going against you as it has, as well as Pythag, their run differential is spectacular. They could come back. There is a scenario where they could come back. I know Yankees fans don't think that because they're defeatist, but there's some numbers that point to that. MVP, Cal Raleigh's minus 130, Judge even money, where Raleigh now is 4 homers ahead of Judge. Judge still obviously way ahead in batting average in terms of the Triple Crown numbers. And Raleigh now with a bit of with just a an edge by 1, is it, in RBI, I believe it is?
Pulling up right now.
So, Mariners got to get it together, though, too, right? That Mariners offense just does not cash in when the Ducks are on the pond. They have real trouble. They're like 28th with runners in scoring position this year. So it's just the Mariners get to the postseason. That's one thing. If they miss the playoffs, would they give it to Cal Raleigh over Aaron Judge? I don't think they would.
Okay, so I think the buy point at Judge is interesting, but you wouldn't buy now, right? Because he's out for a week plus. This number's only going to get longer. It might be minimal, but it's going to get longer.
Let it go and bank that Cal Raleigh keeps hitting homers?
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that, but just Judge being out, right? He'll drift.
Well, Cal's got to do his part. It's interesting. Not playing it myself. Coming back with Paul Sporer.
And they're off.
You're up for football season the sharp way with a VSiN Pro subscription. Right now, grab our football special for just $175. An early bird deal that gives you full VSiN access through the Super Bowl. That includes our NFL betting guide, loaded with team previews, power ratings, and season-long best bets. Plus, pro picks sent to your inbox daily, betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, live shows on the VSiN Watch app, and so much more. Don't wait. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on a numbers game. Partido de números, for those listening in Spanish. We get tweets at Beating the Books. Gil Alexander. It's Kelly Bidlin alongside. This is from 03 Jack. Wanted to go back to the home run derby. He says, I had Rooker 60-1 that night before the game for MVP. He was minus 125-ish after he hit the first 2 homers in the swing off. That's right, he was. He hit 2, that's correct, out of 3. And then Schwarber ruined the night by hitting all 3 out of 3, much like all the times I bet on him to homer and then doesn't. So he's not a fan of Kyle
Schwarber's
Schwarber.
awesome. That's my entire breakdown. Kyle Schwarber's just great.
Shrek McPhee, welcome back, sir. Chubb, comeback player of the year, 14-1, especially with the Mixed News media darling superhuman. Lock it in. Football time. Okay. Can't wait for Cleve TA. Got so many questions for him. We'll get into some awards with him if we have time as well. Bert Wiedemeyer, nice to have Gilly back in the saddle 5 minutes in with the Rapper's Delight verse. Don't feel bad, Kelly. It just shows how old we are. LOL. Speaking of that, we got to talk about the Billy Joel documentary later.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about that. John Balducci. In Art Monk news, Syracuse is finally retiring his jersey. Better late than never. Yes. Washington football team and now Syracuse retiring Art Monk's jersey. About time. 81. Never to be worn by the Commodores ever again. Numbers, guys. Gil, you're so right about the incomparable one, Terry McLaurin. He was drafted at like 24 and a half years old. Maybe part of the reason he came into the league with such ease. Yet again, I just want to make this point again because Kelly couldn't believe my stance on this. The dude has, let's just go through some quarterbacks, right, in his career that he's caught passes from. Dwayne Haskins. the late Dwayne Haskins.
First of all, there's no way we could guess half of them. I couldn't guess half of them that he's actually caught passes from.
Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke, post-injury Alex Smith, Case Keenum, Garrett Gilbert, Carson Wentz, post-injury.
Garrett Gilbert. What?
Sam Howell. Anyway, until Jaden showed up, this was his lot. And if you watched him, you knew he was incomparable. But it's like you don't have Joe Burrow passing to him for his whole career. So it's no fault of his that he has played his entire career. And until finally when Jaden comes here, everybody gets to see what we saw already as Skins fans. But what's the line? Admiration is not a contract strategy. So that's kind of where it is. It's like they're going to have to just come up with like a 3-year deal that's incentive-laden where the fans remain happy. He remains a pillar of the team. And he still gets to get the number he can on a short-term basis.
Yeah.
But you can't pay him for when he's 34 years old. You can't pay him on what he's done.
I get it.
God, I love him.
If somehow they're forced to, though, they will. I think they will.
Oh, I'll lose my mind if they do the wrong thing.
Like you can't have all that excitement of a year ago and then watch him walk out the door. That can't be
an option.
It's not. Yeah,
it's not an option.
It's not happening.
Oh, 941 bet says I don't want to brag. I don't mean to brag. I don't mean to boast. It's from the Bob and Tom show. No, it's Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang. What are you talking about? Come on, what are we doing here? And Dell Mind the Gap Radio says Quinn Ewers, Rookie of the Year, 200-1 flyer. So I guess that's you're rooting for a Tua injury. I hate stuff like that where you have to root for someone injured, but I get it. We're all betting. Do we have Paul Spohr or we don't?
We do have Paul.
Oh, we do.
Standing by.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Austin, Texas, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line, you can follow him on Twitter at Sporer, S-P-O-R-E-R. He works for Fangraphs, the Bible of those of us who handicap baseball for a large portion of our adult lives. Sleeper in the Bus, the name of his podcast. It's Paul Sporer, everybody. How you doing, man?
Morning, gentlemen. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing very well. I just want to ask you a couple questions. Actually, I want to ask you rapid fire a few questions. One,
okay.
We just talked about this momentarily. Cal Raleigh minus 130 AL MVP. Aaron Judge even money. The old plus 100. Do you want to bet Judge now that he's drifting a little bit?
Yeah, I'd probably do like a quarter half unit type vibe on it, just because it's still Judge at even money, right? And injury timelines are notoriously awful, usually to the negative. If they tell you 4 weeks, it's 8 weeks, but things can be better sometimes too. So maybe they're kind of saying it's going to be this bad and maybe it can be a little bit less bad than that and he can still come back, because that's the thing. I think he has a big enough lead right now for Judge that he can still miss 3-4 weeks here and not be totally out of it. So I wouldn't go crazy with it, but I might get a little token down on it there, especially if I already got Raleigh at a good number. I might just hedge there and kind of have both at positive or at least even money there with Judge's move after the injury.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I guess I'll ask you both a question. Because you kind of brought it up earlier with me. Like, I guess I'm expecting Cal Raleigh to slow down here at some point. Is that just a dumb expectation for me, fellas? Like,
no. No. That is the right expectation for just about anybody that's going to have this kind of run. But I would think even more so for somebody like Cal Raleigh, because he's a catcher, and the simple fact is catching. What do we call August? The dog days. It starts catching up to you. He's on just this electric run. Every time you think he's about to slow down, he erupts for another few homers. So I'm not going to be surprised at this point if he just has the most magical season. But expecting some slowdown off of the pace that Cal Raleigh's been on makes a ton of sense and is the prudent move to do right now.
Houston Astros, 4-game lead over both the Mariners and the Rangers. That's it. You look at the division odds. By the way, Houston has, by aggregate win percentage of the other teams on their remaining schedule, they have the easiest schedule the rest of the way in Major League Baseball, but it's still only 4-game lead over both the Mariners and the Rangers. Right now at DraftKings, Astros -210 to win the West, Mariners +310, Rangers 5-1. Who you betting there? Is there a bet?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know, because I kind of want to jump on it before the deadline and maybe try to get something before the numbers change big, especially if Seattle or Texas goes out and does something big, or Houston themselves, by the way, right? They're not just going to sit on their hands, I don't think, especially with a whole team's worth of players on the IL. You can make a competitive team with Houston's IL, and every team gets injuries. I fully understand that. Sometimes it just ruins your season. See Atlanta. But Houston's been able to kind of keep going. I think of those teams right now, I'd probably go for Seattle, and again try to jump them now in case they do make a big move here at the deadline. They got Naylor, which I think is a nice move, but that can't be it. I really hope for DePoto's sake and Mariners fans' sake that that's not it, because I don't think it's enough. So I think they're the team I like the most still. They're the most put together. And outside of Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez, I'm getting really worried about that Houston rotation. Losing Brandon Walter, which half the people don't even know who the hell that is. He barely got into the majors before he got hurt, but he was a big piece for them. Spencer Arrighetti can maybe cover it. I have some concerns about Houston, so I think I would go for Seattle here. And again, before Thursday, before the deadline, to try to jump them in case the price goes up if they make a huge move.
Okay, so let's talk about that. The deadline. Who, the Paul Sporer viewpoint, what are the teams that absolutely have to make a move, and what move is that specifically? At
my Tigers. Let's just start with my Tigers.
Okay, go
immediately.
Ahead. Yeah,
and not just my fandom and anger and all that. Like, it is the first bad lull of the season, and I have been amongst those that saying like, hey, every team's going to have a bad run. They didn't have any in the first half. They barely lost 2 games in a row. I don't even know if they had a 3-game losing streak at any point in the first half. The Tigers played immaculate baseball, and now they're playing some of the sloppiest ball of the year. However, I don't think it's just a downturn that hey, they're going to play out of it, don't make any moves. This is not a sit on your hands situation. That bullpen cannot strike any of the 3 of us out right now, and that is a massive problem. You cannot lack swing and miss in a 2025 bullpen and expect success, because you need the ball to go your way all the time, and it just doesn't work that way. And right now they're giving up some hard contact. I'm not saying that's all been bad luck or anything, but they're also having the ones that are the seeing eye singles, the little floaters that are getting right over the second baseman's head and right in front of the right fielder. All of that sort of stuff's working against them. Their fundamentals have been poor. I think they need multiple bullpen pieces in Detroit, and maybe they probably won't get a huge bat, because Hinch loves his platoons, but they'll probably get an impact platoon bat or 2, maybe 1 righty, 1 lefty, where they kind of play them as 1 super player. But I think the Tigers have to be super active in getting some arms for that bullpen.
Who else besides your Tigers?
So I think obviously you look at the teams at the top. Again, we talked Houston and the West there. I think both of the top 2 teams, Houston and Seattle, should continue to be active. Again, Seattle made a nice move with Naylor. Cannot be it. I think the Blue Jays cannot waste this run that they've had here and just be like, hey, we're good enough. They're a good team. They've got a lot of interesting pieces, but they need to fortify. The Yankees obviously just lost Judge, but you're the New York Yankees. I'm sorry, you don't get to like roll over. I heard some people, and it was just random fans, so I don't want to pretend it was some big analyst or anything, but saying like, oh, pack it in because Judge is out. No, you don't get the luxury of doing that as the Yankees. You have to push. They have to keep going here. They still have a very, very strong team. They got McMahon. Ryan McMahon is not Aaron Judge, but his gain does mitigate the Judge loss a little, at least a little there. So they need to be active, I think, for sure. Of course, the Mets need to fend off the Phillies themselves with Dombrowski. They're going to be in the mix. I'm really eager to see what the Cubs and Milwaukee do, because Milwaukee is a small market team and the Cubs like to pretend that they are. And if they sit on their hands, and I was a Cubs fan, I would lose my mind. I really hope Cincinnati makes a move. And then, of course, the Dodgers, Padres, and your Giants have to too. I think there has to be a lot of movement. I don't know if there will be, though, Gil.
Some people calling it's going to be, the whole thing is going to be a dud, some people are saying. So
I'm worried about that. Too many teams in contention.
And you're right. Teams like the Giants, though, I mean, if they don't make a move, what are we really talking about here? I mean, that offense. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Gil. Take care.
Paul Sport. August, most wins, Major League Baseball next.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim is the only thing like it in the world.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
The Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Profit X offering the best odds all baseball season long. Profit X peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states. Not here in Nevada, Kelly, but 40-plus states. The first of its kind in the U.S. You'll be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans rather than against sportsbooks. Exchanges guarantee the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. It's way more than that, by the way. I don't know why they say just 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download Profit X today with code VSiN and earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. And let me just say, on the way back from Hawaii, was it Cali?
Hawaii. Which island did you go to?
Maui.
Nice.
Used some Profit X there in California. Let me just put it this way. I don't know why we're betting at sports books. That's my review. And there's something, if you've never used a peer-to-peer, there is something, you can't really put a price tag on this or quantify this in any way. But you're beating someone else. You're not beating the sports book. So there's a little extra just sort of jazz to that where you're like, I told you the Rangers were going to cover the 1.5.
Random college kid. Gil's coming for your money.
No, I'm just saying. But I'm going to have a weird relationship with it because I'm going to only be able to use it once, when I'm there.
Right, yeah.
Because he can't
it's
use it
always
here.
the Matt Brown DFS, where it's like
Right.
whenever he goes golfing, he's automatically a DFS expert again. But yeah, otherwise can't use it in this state.
We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate it again. Oh, y'all are great. Mike Manning, best listeners in the game. Mike Manning is pumped. He's got Cal Raleigh 80-1 MVP.
Whew, that's a ticket.
80-1. When did you make this, man? Nice. And he's got it for a nice sizable amount. Good for you. The way how Mike Manning put it on his tweet, though, he goes, "Let's go, big dumper." For those of you who don't know, that's Cal Raleigh's nickname.
I mean, what are you doing if you have that ticket, Gil? You doing anything with that?
Nothing right now. None yet.
Nothing for me. I'd probably take some Judge in about a week. I guess I'm assuming Judge will be a little longer, like plus 125, plus 130. I'd probably take a little bit of that at that point.
At least cover your outlay.
Yeah.
Corbin, good morning, fellas. Was a groomsman in my lifelong friend's wedding this weekend. The absolute rookie move, not booking off the Monday for the love of baby Jesus, but get to have the gang back together to start the week. Nothing better. Glad to have both of you guys back. Thank you, Corbin. That's very nice of you. Chance Copperpot. I'm not sure what Gil's been up to the last 2 weeks. Either he hasn't been able to get out of his timeshare, or that cheap gas was really far away. Welcome back, Gil. Hope your vacation was awesome. Go Blue Jays in July. Well, Blue Jays in July is one thing. Again, 2-win lead over the field right now with 4 days left in the month of July and an extra game, by the way, over everybody still to play except for the Rangers. The Rangers and Blue Jays, the only teams with 4 games left to play. So the Blue Jays in the driver's seat, they're a $6 favorite now to win most wins in July. And it was a team that I mentioned but didn't play. I played the Mariners. The Mariners were good, but, again, a non-competitive top 10-ish team in this. So that brings us to August. Eric Biggio over at William Hill Caesars let us know a couple days ago. They've already posted them at William Hill Caesars. Now, again, remember, William Hill Caesars, there's a dead heat on these in case of a tie, whereas when Circa puts them up, Circa has a tie-breaking system. Fewest wins, first tiebreaker, run differential, second tiebreaker at the end of the month in case you're tied in the win column. So for August, Dodgers are your short shot at 6-1. Cubbies and Phillies at 7-1. The presumptive July winners, Blue Jays, don't want to call it yet, but plus 750. Then everybody else is double digits. So I will do exactly what I believe it was 3Jack wanted me to do, which is I'll tell you the 3 teams that I considered but didn't play, and then the 4th team that I actually made a play on last night.
All right. You're going to have to tell me which team because I'm pretty sure I just punched all 4 up as 4 Gills considering.
So the team, oh no, I played one. I played it, and it moved, but not so much that I wouldn't still play it. So here are the teams I consider. 1, the Houston Astros. Houston Astros have the easiest schedule the rest of the way in Major League Baseball, but obviously there's 2 months left, not just the 1 month of August. They've got 28 games scheduled in the month of August. However, 12 are at home and 16 are away. I don't love that, by the way. The Astros 9-1, now 10-1 over there at William Hill Caesars. But their August schedule is quite easy. The only issue with it, again, is that home-road split and the fact that the Astros, I'm like what Paul Sporer just said, I don't really believe in the pitching right now. They have not looked good here in their last couple series. I have not been bullish on the Astros at any point. I'm not bullish on them here either. So I'm not betting the Astros. And again, that home-road split may not seem like a lot, but that's a pretty stark one for 28 days. The New York Metropolitans were another team I considered. They also have 28 games scheduled in the month of August. Look at this home road split, though. 19 at home, 9 away. That is hugely favorable. Someone has already bet the Mets from 14-1 now to 12-1.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
The issue with the Mets, though, is they've got 6 against Atlanta. And so, by the way, they're 2-5 against the Braves thus far this year. So even though you might think of Atlanta as a bad baseball team, a lot of this handicap with the Mets for me came down to those 6 games against the Braves. The thing with the Braves is they're 44-60 in the standings, but they're actually, based on Pythag, 5 games better than that, based on runs scored and runs allowed. And only the Yankees have had worse sequencing luck than the Braves have. So I just don't view those 6 games as that easy for the Mets, and that's a big part of that schedule because if you consider Atlanta tough, then the schedule looks tough. If you consider them easy, then it looks easy. I did not play the Mets. That was sort of the fulcrum games for me against the Braves. The third team I considered the Mariners again. Played them in July. They've got 27 games scheduled in the month of August, 15 home, 12 away. Someone bet them. They went from 28-1 to 22-1. Here's the thing with the Mariners, though, and this was part of my handicap in the month of July. The Mariners ended up averaging 4.45 runs per game in July. But remember I talked about how their toughest opponents was, I looked at it as a fortunate thing for the Mariners when I was handicapping them for July. I was like, their toughest opponents are cozied right up to the All-Star break, so that's kind of a good thing. Sure enough, you know what they did? They scored 12, 15, 8, 6, and 7 runs in those 5 games, 3 before, 2 right after the All-Star break, because really weird things happen right before and right after the All-Star break. So I was right about that. The problem is they didn't score any runs beyond those 5 games. Literally 1 run shy of half of all of their runs scored in the month of July were in those 5 games alone.
Wow. They
just can't. They're horrible with runners in scoring position, and typically you would think, oh, well, something like that might regress to the mean. I don't know, man. That's the frustrating thing about the Mariners. They just can't seem to get it together on any consistent basis. Just when you think they're going to crack through, they have these dud offensive games, and you're like, well, there it is again.
That's a good. Those are good points because, man, I'm just staring at that. That's a pretty attractive schedule considering that price.
Well, here's who I played for the month of August, and I bet them at 30-1. The Texas Rangers. Now, they've got 28 games scheduled in the month of August. The Rangers do 15 home, 13 away. Only the Yankees, Cubs, and Brewers have better run differentials in Major League Baseball than the Texas Rangers. They have had the best run differential in the month of July. The Rangers have. As far as the season is concerned, the Rangers have only given up 363 runs. The next closest team is 32 runs away, the Royals, 392. The Rangers' pitching is nothing short of phenomenal. Number 1 in ERA, 3.17. Number 1 in batting average against. Number 1 in whip, cool whip. They're phenomenal. They are, based on Pythagorean theorem, again, runs scored, runs allowed, run differential. They are a 63-43 team in 56-50 clothing, to use Joe Pita's old turn of a phrase. They're a way better team than the standings suggest, in other words. They, in the month of July, don't have the offensive problems that the Mariners have, quite the opposite. They have averaged 5.86 runs per game in the month of July. Any way you look at it, this is a solid team led by DeGrom and Eovaldi of the starting staff. I will take this beyond August, Kelly. I think I backed the wrong horse beyond that, right, when I was doing my matchups, my World Series matchups.
Oh, really?
So I not only have the Rangers at 30-1. By the way, it moved to 22-1. I would still play the Rangers at 22-1 for the month of August. I got them at 30-1. I am considering other Rangers bets as well. The magic of Bruce Bochy. I love that 5-1 for them to win the AL West. You can bet them as a, some people have division and league markets. Win the division, win the market. They're 30-1 in that market to win the AL West and the AL. Now, I have not pulled the trigger on anything but the August market, but I'm just saying this team is good enough where I'm considering bets beyond the month of August.
Minus 105 to make the playoffs.
Texas Rangers, most wins month of August. Now, I'm super curious to see where DraftKings and Circa end up lining them when they come out with them in the next couple days. But there you go. August wins, Texas Rangers. Let's go. Let's get off the schneid this year, for God's sakes. Football, NFL, Cleve TA next on A Numbers Game.
Introducing the $500 trifecta. Use your GBank Visa Signature credit card within 3 months of account opening